According to the UN, more than 500,000 refugees have left Ukraine, with tens of thousands more fleeing their country every day. Lesia Bakalets spoke with some of the women and children fleeing the Russian invasion.
Anna Rice narrates her story.
4 days on the road, from Kiev to Zhytomyr, then to Rivne and on to the Polish border, joining the 100-kilometer line of cars and people with bags walking along the side of the road. That's what happened to Snezhana when she left Kiev on February 25th to travel to Germany, where she has relatives.
We had to move to a different border, the one with Slovakia. There is still a 6-kilometer line of cars there, but at least it's not 100 kilometers.
After kissing her husband goodbye, she gets on a bus and crosses the Slovakian border. He heads back to Kiev.
We were met at the border, then taken to a school where we could get warm, have a bite to eat and some water. Then friends of our relatives picked us up from there to take us somewhere where we could spend the night. And then we continued on our way to Germany.
On the second day of Russia's invasion, Olga also left Ukraine, together with her 1-year-old son Taras. Today they are safe in Poland.
I'm staying with my husband's sister now. We left Irpin, we heard the shelling and fighting in Hostomel. And literally 2 hours after we left, Russian tanks entered Irpin, Bucha and Warzel.
Katerina Ilchenko's husband is American. For weeks, he and the whole family had been trying to convince her to leave Ukraine.
I told them I'm not going anywhere. You know why? Because I have not finished renovating the apartment. I finished the kitchen but have not done our bedroom.
After the U.S. State Department strongly urged American citizens to leave Ukraine, Katerina partially gave in. The family left Kiev and headed to the west of the country a week before the Russian invasion. Now they are planning to leave the country.
We have not gone as far as we could have because I didn't want to leave Ukraine. But anyway, it's better than being at home because one of the first missile strikes hit our neighborhood.
More than 500,000 people like Katerina, Olga and Snezhana have fled Ukraine, according to the UN, and the number keeps growing. Even more Ukrainians are internally displaced, say experts.
660,000 displaced persons internationally, they are in other countries, and 1.5 million displaced within Ukraine. A total of 2.2 million, which is 4% of the population? That's significant already, and only after 5 days.
It's a refugee crisis in Europe happening in real time.
And without any sort of aerial protection, without any sort of engagement by either supporters of Ukraine or the Ukrainian military, having the capacity to deter those missiles from hitting targets, it may well be, I would argue, a worst-case scenario where we may find that we only have 2 to 5 million refugees out of 44.1 million Ukrainians.
But those Ukrainians who spoke to VOA say they do not want refugee status. They plan to return home.
One of my biggest fears is to come back to Kyiv and not recognize it. From what I can see, and I try not to look much, little bits here and there, I can see what they have done to it. But I will love it in any state. I will come back to Kyiv. I will unlock the door to my apartment with my own key. I'll come in and I'll finish renovating our bedroom against all odds.